everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And due to the last video that I put up about the first part of the exhaust job on my truck, and it's turning out to be one hell of a nightmare. Two bolts broke off, one on the end of the manifold. I got it tapped out and bought 4 new bolts to put in it. 2 for the other side too, because they're the same size, so I'm gonna go ahead and change them too. They're already loose because I've had that out a couple weeks ago. But anyway, where the hole or where the bolt broke off in the head was the very first one in the front of the motor. So what I'm doing is I'm building a jig, and I'll show you that here in a minute. What I'm doing is building a jig, and this one here is that cylinder that I'm working on, and this one here is the second one. So basically the bolts are going to bolt this to the second port and then to half of the third port or the first port, and then we got a hole where the next one's supposed to be. So I'm building a jig so that I can mill that out with a milling bit. So I made this collar, and I don't know if it's exactly right yet, but I'm going to take a mill bit, and I made it so that this shank will go in there, and this side is the size of this. So I got it set up for 2 different ones. So it's probably going to be this one. Yep, this one here is the one we're going to end up with. So it goes in and it will guide the milling bit into that hole. So I'm going to have to make that a little deeper or make it a little shorter. Probably make it a little shorter so that I can get the full amount. So I want to cut that thing off somewhere about, take about 1/3 of it back off of it. So this will go in, and imagine this is where the head is, and this is lined up right where the hole is going to be. And then this will be my guide to make sure that I stay straight so that I can mill the first part of that bolt out, because I got it off center down lower, and if I drill it one more time, it's going to be into the casting halfway. So I'm not going to be able to do it that way. So while I've got a little bit of meat, I'm going to try to mill it out. So I've made this, and I got to weld this to that and make sure that it's centered. But I'm not going to weld it until I get this mounted and figure out exactly where that's supposed to be, so I can make sure that this is exactly where it's supposed to be. I'm pretty sure that all I have to do is just line up the hole in the center and just weld it. But we got a little bit of adjustment room with these bolt holes because they're just a little bit oversized, so it'll shift a little bit this way and that way. So this is going to be my jig for drilling out that head, and this may help me in the future. So now we've got a way to guide a milling bit. Now we need to find a way to extend the drill bit, the milling bit, to make it longer. So I have to make an extension for my milling bit. So we're just going to turn that down to where it's nice and smooth, and then we're going to turn this shank down to a 1/2 inch, and then we're going to taper up and leave it this size, except for what I cleaned off of it. And then we're going to drill it for this to go in there, and then we're going to drill it for a set screw to put on that flat spot on the milling bit. So we'll get on it. I'll meet you clear over there. I can't never find a good spot to put you guys. What I need is a daggone camera thing that comes down here that slides back and forth all the way across my bench, so I can put this anywhere I want. But I have a hard time finding you guys a place that this ain't in the way. So we're going to try to get you in a better location here. Let's make sure that we're not going to hit you. This might be in the way, but there ain't a whole lot I can do about it. You guys are just going to have to get over it. Maybe that's a good location. Alright. So, first thing I want to do is clean that rod up a little bit because it's probably crooked. And we're just going to clamp on the part that we're going to have the, well, first we got to put a center hole in it. So let's put a center hole in it. Alright, so let's try this again. There we go. Nice fit. So now we need to figure out where we're going to put our flat spot and our set screw. But for now, we're just going to clean it up, clean the outside of it, change my chuck to life center. Alright, we're going to clean this thing up. Alright, so now what we need to do is turn it around and put a center on the other side. So that I can turn, because I want to put a taper on it. You know what? No, let me just turn it around. Alright, so now we've got the shank where it'll fit in the drill. So it's probably going to be hot. So I'm going to go get my gloves, cool it down, and then turn it around. Actually, we got to go to the mill with it. Let's meet you at the mill. So now we need to figure out where it's supposed to be. So we're thinking somewhere around right about right there. Well, if I can get something to mark on it. There we go. Alright. So now we're going to mill this small flat. Alright. Now we'll chamfer that hole. Blow it out. And then I need to run the reamer in it. So guys, we have an adapter for milling bits, and that's going to work in my tool. So I'll take that in the house and put a set screw in it, because I don't think my set screws are out here. But right there is how you make a extension to go in the drill. And there's your drill milling bit. And then that will go into this collar. So we need to shorten this collar a little bit. The reason I had to make this extension is because the frame is in the way, and when this is hitting the frame, it needs to go down further. So I can't get a straight shot on the hole. So that's why I had to make an extension, so I can bypass the frame. So I'm going to make a shorter one of these. Well, cut this one down 3/8 or a third of that. That should give me enough to come out. So I'll do that and we'll be back. Alright guys, apparently I did not have this thing recording while I was gluing it. Well, there's my tool anyway. This video's gotten too long anyway. So all I did was just took this cold blue with a cotton ball, put it on there, and then oiled it. But that's the new tool that we're going to be using in the next video when I go to mill out. We're trying to do it with a milling bit instead of a drill bit, because milling bit we're hoping that I'm going to be able to go straight in and it's not going to try to walk into the next hole. Once we get it started, it should stay in track, but that's what the guide is for, to help us keep that in line. So hope to God this works, because I don't. The other alternative is I'm gonna have to take the intake and that head off, and then take it in the mill machine, and hope to God it fits in the mill machine, which I doubt it will. So I may have to take it to somebody to mill it out. Of course, we know that's not going to happen. Anyway, hope y'all learned something out of this. Got some information. Y'all have a good one. Later.